Okay, we're out here on a property in northeast Wisconsin. In this area here, it's pretty clay-like. We're standing in an area that looks really good. And I was talking to the gentleman, and it's showing what the deer are eating now, and it's been really wet. And as I'm looking and moving around, and I'm showing them, like, they're hammering the medium red clover. I'm more of a medium red clover than probably anybody in the wildlife industry because, again, I live out in fields. I really watch what deer are eating, and when it's really wet, medium red clover is the preferred forage in a lot of areas. Even when we're sitting here looking at, frosty bursting, Blanson fixation, alfalfa, ladino clovers, right now they're hammering the medium red clover. But the one question that just brought up to me is, like, when do you clip, how do you clip, and all that. So many people don't understand that anytime we get within about 7 days of when clovers blossom out, the qualities start dropping. Some people say, well, deer only need 14-16% protein. Well, that's not my biggest concern when it comes to clipping. The mineral contents can drop by 30 to 60% pretty rapidly. Also, the biggest thing with nutrition with white-tailed deer, the next bite they eat, is actually energy. Energy is the most important thing, energy density. So again, we can lose a lot of energy density quick once it goes into reproduction. So why do we clip? We clip, sure, you're gonna have higher protein, sure, you're gonna have higher mineral, but energy is really, really significant. Out here, if we clip this off today, that regrowth is gonna have energy that's gonna net almost as good as corn, believe it or not. And that's a whole other story with the varieties of corn, how the deer don't get a lot of use out of it, but it's very high energy, way higher energy than people imagine if you're clipping. But in my world, the most important thing for clipping is integrated weed management. I don't want to spray. The less spray we put out here, of course, there's economics, there's less running over the soil, which could cause compaction. And again, it's weed management. A lot of weeds that are typical in a lot of areas, especially wet areas, heavy soil in the areas I'm standing now, are annual broadleaves. You clip them once, sure, you might have some regrowth. You clip them the second time, that really stunts back a lot of those annual broadleaves. So again, I clip for weed management. And again, like, who wants to spray for weeds? And again, we're trying to maintain as thick and dense a sward as can be. And again, I don't know if the cameraman picks up on this, but when you're walking through here, I mean, this is just the way you want it to be. And again, the property owner, we just said, we'll discuss this again. In my world, I want to clip every 28 to 35 days, depending on the year. And the last part of the equation is the last clip. My last clip, you guys' last clip, I want that to be as high. I always say don't clip below 6 inches, but if you have a bush hog or the ability to clip high, that last clip, whether it be like around August 20th, September 1st, September 5th, depending where you're located, I want it to be where you're just basically taking the tops off. If it's starting to seed out, take the heads off. I want to try to clip about 10 inches from the ground, a lot higher than normally, if you can, if you have the ability to do that. And again, I work with some properties. I have a property where I don't spray unless I have to. Yes, we might have a few weeds, but again, with timely clipping, the first time you might be thinking, God, did it do okay? By that second clip of the season, it really knocks back a lot of these weeds that can become problematic. So again, John O'Brien out here in northeast Wisconsin, standing in a blend of a lot of different species of clovers with a little bit of alfalfa and chicory here.